Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you're having an amazing day so far. I'm your host Phil, and today's video I want to show you a neat little trick in Reaper, which I found out recently, which could potentially save you hundreds of dollars syncing into boost and overdrive pedals and save you and spare you from diving into that respective rabbit hole. Let's roll that intro clip and then let me show you that trick. Boosting your high gain amplifier with overdrive or with boost pedals is something which I find great pleasure in. I'm super guilty of diving into that rabbit hole like many other people who might potentially watch this video. And yeah, I've seen it. I've been there. I mean, just look at this boost board over here, which I'm going to also kind of fade into the video here in a picture. The price of these pedals have amassed easily over $1,000, and that's not even all of them which I have. So I have even more on stock basically. So I've been guilty of looking into this rabbit hole way too deep. But what if I tell you that spending all of this money gathering all of this stuff is actually totally unnecessary, and you could, using the right approach, way easily get to your tone with way less expenses. And I'm not talking about the attitude which some people are showing online where they're claiming things like that it's stupid that you boost your signal going into a high gain amplifier. No, I'm not talking about that, because I am still an avid believer in boosting your tone. However, I have come to gripes that using all of this hardware stuff is somewhat unnecessary. To shake up things a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first play through the amplifier a little bit, just riffing a little bit around randomly, and afterwards I'm going to have another clip where I'm riffing around, but then using the actual neat little trick which I'm talking about, which is absolutely blatantly obvious. And you know, like now that I kind of use that and incorporate it into the ways I search for tones and kind of dial them in, I'm asking myself why I haven't come earlier to this conclusion. But nonetheless, here's the riffing clips. Signal chain will be as the following. I got over here my Solar guitars, A1.6 ANN with a Seymour Duncan SH5 in the bridge. That then goes through the reamping chain, which consists of the Lila P-Split 3 straight into my EVH 5153. That goes into the load box, the St. Rock React IR 2, and that goes then back into the interface with an IR loader. What do you think about the tone which I got out there? I personally thought it sounded absolutely kick-ass. And with that out of the way, let's finally get to the portion where I'm talking about the approach which I'm taking, what I'm exactly doing, and how I came to actually doing this approach. If you're looking at different schematics of overdrive pedals, you can see that very often, you will have some sort of clipping stage where you got basically a boost of the frequency or the signal which you're putting into the pedal, and then you're having some sort of tone volume stage. So this is basically your tone stack, and this is your clipping stack. Now, I have taken these both modular approaches and kind of replicated them to my liking exactly as such in Reaper, and that's what we got over here. On this track, which is my guitar input track, I have used an EQ where I'm taking a lot out of the 200 Hertz frequency range. You can see that with a very wide bandwidth over here in order to kind of also affect the frequencies laying around that. And then I got a volume adjustment, which is basically just a volume boost by 15 decibels. Now let's hear singular what these things are doing. I'm gonna first play without any of these effects applied. Now, this per se is not a bad tone, actually. I mean, this is quite usable. If you do some equalization in the post-production stage, then you can easily get some good tones out of this. Absolutely. But here's what happens when I apply the EQ. This substantially thins out the signal, giving that a little bit of that quacky feeling to it. However, when I now go ahead and add the boost over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the front end of the amplifier so hard that it's again getting a little bit more muddy and therefore a little bit more of that fat, chuggy tone. That sounds really awesome. I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to set them up so that I can toggle them on off. So every time when I'm doing like this over here, then I can toggle them on off. And let's first have them off. Oh man, this sounds so good. And now you are able of doing whatever you feel fancy of. So I copied the re-EQ settings so that I don't get my initial settings lost. I can now go ahead and maybe I want more low end. So I can go ahead and just take the bandwidth a little bit narrower. So that way we are affecting less of the, let's say, low mids and the super sub low end. So let's just go with a way narrower EQ. Let's listen to what that sounds like. Let's just experiment a little bit. Let me set this up so I can toggle between the original EQ and the other EQ. So when I do this, like that, I can use Control B in order to toggle them. We're going to start off with the original EQ and then move to the now altered EQ. We could now go ahead and let's just try something out. I'm going to go to the altered EQ. I'm going to set this back to a wide Q, and I'm going to add a frequency band where I'm going to push a little bit the mid section of this, just so that we still get that low end going on, but maybe some sort of honk in the mid section over here. So let's just go with something like that. I'm just playing a little bit around, having a little bit fun with this. Okay, this is what it sounds like. Now this is a little bit too high in the gain, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust the gain over here, the overall gain, gonna take it down a little bit so I don't have to push anything on that regard. So This is really great. I mean, there's so much different options which you now can take, so much different approaches which you can use this for. I mean, it's incredible. What else can I say? It sounds fantastic, it's super simple, and it's 100% free. The conclusion and the closing thoughts of this video are quite obvious, although they're so cliche and worn off. Do whatever inspires you, and what sounds good, sounds good. Now, what I mean by that is that you should remain open-minded on the tools which you are using. It doesn't matter if you're using like free plugins, if you're using paid plugins, if you're using expensive pedals, if you're using do-it-yourself budget pedals. Just do whatever sounds good to you. But, however, with a little bit of knowledge and applying that in a systematic and analytic approach, you can eventually save yourself a lot of headache. So, knowing what you like about your tone and knowing what you don't like about your tone is absolutely crucial to get you very quickly to the goal which you're striving for. Now, also, please don't fall into the dogmas which people are setting up. You have to use pedal XYZ. Pedal XYZ is a staple. You have to use that on this amplifier. Or you're not allowed to cross digital stuff, digital plugins into your analog amp. That's heresy. Cut the crap, you know? Do whatever sounds good and inspires you. Because I have to say, this over here, knowing this, sure, I will continue to buy pedals because I love boost and overdrive pedals. I like the click of them. I like tweaking them. It's all part of the experience. But knowing what I gained out of this over here and being able to apply this for future use cases will definitely help me get faster to the source of my problems and then reading that out. So that's kind of my takeaway and hopefully the learning you can gather out of this video. With that out of the way, if you learned something out of this or if you liked the video, then please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought about the tone, what is your favorite boost pedal, what kind of setup you're actually, like really drooling after. And yeah, just let's engage a little bit in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Until then, keep it metal.